Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry about my voice. I am incredibly sick today, like incredibly sick. But I wanted to get this review of the Shiny Pretty Things collection from MAC up for you because they are having some sales on their website coming up on Cyber Monday and I think on Black Friday as well. So if you've been on the fence about these or some of the lipsticks in the collection, I'm here to give you my thoughts. I can't really talk an awful lot, so let's just do this. Alright, so I did do a demo of the eye look today. Didn't give any thoughts on the eyeshadows as I was doing that. Then you'll see me apply this palette here, which is the face palette, and I give my thoughts at that point. And then I also try on the two lipsticks that I have and give my thoughts on those. So I'm not going to spend time talking about them right now, just keep watching if you are interested in them. If I'm really on my A game, I will put timestamps so that you can jump through, but I make no promises at this point. That is all up to editing Kara, and she is a whole other person than the person who's filming right now. So, the eyeshadow palette. I just have the cooler version. This is called the Smoky palette, and there are the shades that are in there. It is very much a cool toned palette. It does come with a dual-ended brush as well, which is actually quite functional. Both ends are rather narrow and flat little shaders, but again, like I said, they are quite functional and I will actually get use out of these. Oh my god, I'm dying. I'm just a pool of misery right now, so I'm sorry. Back to the palette. Like I said, it is very cool toned in nature. I actually really like it because I think it is different. There's not a lot of truly cool toned palettes out there. I like that they have given a couple pops of color here and a nice silver down here. It just increases the versatility of the palette. I have the teal shade on my lids and I have the blue smoked out under my lower lash line and the silver is on the inner corner. The mid-tone, like taupe kind of shades in here are also very pretty for an everyday kind of look. I do wish that this was matte, this really dark brown down here, and I wish that this one was maybe just a hair lighter, but those are really minor complaints in the grander scheme of things. I'm really sorry. I'm not going to do swatches. I should. I'm a terrible reviewer for not doing it, but I am just not feeling it. I'm filming this portion of the video obviously after I've done everything else, so I've been at this for quite a while and the meds are kicking in and I'm ready to go to bed. So I do apologize. The take home here is the shades look the same on the eyes as they do in the pan. So you're not getting any surprises here. I find sometimes, like when I reviewed the Kat Von D Fetish palette, there were pans that looked bronze, and then when you applied them, it was like this really black, like stark black base to it with a little bit of bronze over it, and it totally changed the look of the eyeshadow. That is not happening here. What you see is what you get, and for that, thank you, MAC. I appreciate that. I will say the shimmer shadows are beautiful to work with. You can pick them up with a brush, no problem. I did build up the intensity a bit by spraying them with Fix Plus, but they didn't look bad just on their own. The mattes blend beautifully, even the black, which I do have in the outer corners of my eyes. I had no issues blending it. It wasn't patchy. Overall, the take-home message here is that these are beautiful, beautiful shadows to work with. So if you like the color scheme, you're gonna like the palette. I actually just like the packaging as well. It's really kind of cool and different. I like the idea that they put out a cool palette and a warm palette. I am tempted by the warm palette. I do not need it. Do not need it. So I'm trying to hold off. Maybe if it goes on sale, that might tip me over the edge, but overall, I am a big fan of this one. So again, I'm fading very fast. I am sorry. Perhaps I will refilm this. I doubt it though, because time is so limited. But I just did want to give you some basic information about it. You will see in the demo how the shadows apply and how easy they are to blend. This look really didn't take very long at all to create because the shadows were so easy to work with. I didn't have to build up intensity over and over again. They're great to work with. So let's get into the demo, and then again you'll see the face products and the lip products as you go through the rest of this video. Here we go. As usual, I'm going to go in with the Soft Ochre Paint Pot to prime my lids. For the first shade, I'm going to use this one here on a Sigma E40. It's just a big, soft blending brush. And I'm going to put that into the transition area. Then I'm going to take a slightly more tapered brush. This one is from Makeup Geek. It's a soft dome brush. And I'm going to pick up this next darker shade over here. And I'm going to put that into the crease and blend it up. Then I'm going to take the brush that comes with the palette and I'm going to pick up this iridescent green teal color here. And at first I'm just going to pick it up loose with the brush and just pat it on the lid, and then I will go over top of that and spray the brush with Fix Plus just to build up the intensity. I'm not taking it all the way into the inner corner to leave space for the silver. Next I'm going to go in with the matte black, and then this is just a really small, precise brush here. This one is from Volair. It is the E09, and I like it just for placing these really dark colors, and then I use a different brush to blend them out. To blend it out, I'm just using a really fine, fluffy brush. This one is the V20 from BH Cosmetics. To help smoke that out even more, I'm going to take another brush. This one is from Volair again. It's the EO7. It's more of a fluffier brush without being super splayed, like it's still a rather precise tip to it. And I'm going to pick up just a little bit of that darker brown matte shade there. Really tap off the excess and then just blend the edges of that black. And then finally I'm going to go in with the clean MAC 217 and just blend all those edges again. There is a little bit of fallout there, so I'm just going to clean that up. And then do the lower lash line. So for that, I'm going to use a really thin, flat liner brush here. This one is from Luxie. It's the 221, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of that black shadow. And then rather than like wipe it back and forth, I just kind of press it, do a little wiggle, and then just continue that along, just so that I don't create a ton of fallout and so that it is nice and precise and close to the lash line. So that it's not quite so harsh, I'm going to use this brush here from e.l.f. It's the 202. It's a nice pencil brush. I'm going to pick up that dark blue shade here. Then I used the Sigma E36, picked up that initial shade that we went in with, and used that to buff out the blue. Finally, I used this very thin, precise brush from Bedelium Tools. This is the 711. I think it's actually a lip brush, but whatever. You can use it however you need to use it. And I use that to pick up the silver just to put into the inner corner. For my lower lash line, I used a pencil from Pixie. This is the Endless Silky Eye Pen in True Teal. And just put that into the waterline. I lined my upper lashes with the Stila Stay All Day liquid liner. Didn't do a wing or anything, I just stuck with the lash line. And then I used a sample mascara that I have from MAC. This is the In Extreme Dimension 3D Black Lash Mascara. And it has like those stiff rubber bristles. There. Can't say I'm wild on this mascara, but I figured if I'm doing a MAC look, I may as well use MAC mascara. And that's it for the eye look. You could totally go ahead with false lashes if you wanted. False lashes and I are on a break. There's been a lot of arguments lately, a lot of dysfunction. The relationship is turning toxic, so we're just pressing pause for now. I will be back, but I need some breathing room. You feel me? You dig? Okay, let's do the rest of the face then. To finish my face, I have the face palette in Light. I will say it is rather subtle. It's buildable, but it goes on very subtle, and I think if you're anything darker than me, I typically wear like light, not fair, but light. If you're any darker than me, you're probably going to want the deeper version of this. I will say I'm very glad that they came out with two versions. Oftentimes they just release, not necessarily MAC, but brands will just release, here's our face palette, if you're white, and it's not all that inclusive, so I am pleased to see that they released two versions of it. So there are the powders on the inside. They are not your typical powder. Like, it's not a cream, but it's not powder per se, or at least it doesn't become powdery. I don't really know how to describe it. It's kind of a hybrid of the two. I like it. I find that especially the blush, because that's what I can see the most, it does last all day. So overall, I am very pleased with the face palette, but let's just put it on, shall we? I'll do half so you can see the difference. Sorry, my voice is terrible today. I've got a wicked cold and it is sitting right in my chest. But I'll just do half of my face so you can see the difference. So you can see that it does make a difference, but it's not over the top. It's not particularly bold and intense, which I kind of like, especially for face products, because there's nothing worse than doing all of this with your makeup and then your blush just is like, ah, here's my cheeks. So I like this better because it is buildable. You can get a lot of intensity out of it if that's your jam, but it's not going to be that way straight out of the gate. I really like the highlight as well. It's certainly highlighty without being blinding. So I find that this face palette is great for everyday wear. You can maybe see from just how much is worn off of the little bow emblem here that I have actually been using it almost every day. And I really like this. This is definitely sort of a top shelf kind of palette for me. So I'm just going to go finish the other half and then we'll wrap this up. The collection includes, I think, 4 or 5 lipsticks. I have 2 of them to show you. I have Straight Fire, which is, oddly enough, a matte metallic, if that makes sense. You'll see when I put it on. And then I have a Wink of Pink, which is more of a frosty metallic. I'll go in with Straight Fire first, just so you can see it. So you can see that it's not like a satin finish or anything like that. It is a matte, but there's a bit of like a metallic shift without being frosty. So I actually really like it. I think it's really pretty. And overall, I like the deepness of the red as well. And it's very comfortable on the lips. Like, it doesn't have that, the Ruby Woo feel to it, where it's like It tugs across the lips. This is a lot creamier than that formula. The other one is Wink of Pink. I'm not wild on it, to be honest. Let me bump it in. Like, it's not, I guess it's not terrible as far as Frost lipsticks go, but it's just, it's not, I don't know, it's not something I can see myself reaching for over and over again. I ordered it from Sephora online, so I hadn't seen it in store and hadn't swatched it. Had I swatched it, I might not have bought it. In fact, I probably wouldn't have. But there it is, at any rate. So there we have it. There is the roundup of the items that I have bought from the Shiny Pretty Things collection. Overall, I think it's a great collection. I love that they put out 2 different eyeshadow palettes. I'm tempted to get the warm one, but I really don't need it. I have so many warm palettes. But I like that they have a warm one and a cool one. I think you really gotta like cools to like this. Like, you really gotta be on board with them because it is very cool. But overall, I think you can make some really nice looks with it. Of what I've purchased, the winner for me is the face palette. I really, really like that, and it will definitely not be tucked away into a drawer somewhere and forgotten about. Like I said, it is sort of top drawer for me. I reach for it every day pretty much. The lipsticks are nice, but the Frost is really not the kicker for me. I much prefer Straight Fire. I think it's very, very pretty and very holiday appropriate. All right, I am losing my voice. It hurts to talk. It hurts to breathe. Who knew being alive could be so painful?